Tyla choosing to surround herself with Black American music, Black American culture, Black American artists, Black American publications, but refusing to talk about her racial identity is an interesting choice. It feels very disingenuous, but an interesting choice nonetheless.
Welcome on another episode, you guys. How are you all doing? I hope you guys are doing well today. And if you are joining the channel for the very first time, I see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't make it your last time. So permit me to beg you to smash the subscribe button and turn your bell notification on. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Tyla's interview that has been going viral. Since last year, I feel like Tyla's racial and cultural identity has been a topic of conversation. Like, it has been coming up over and over again since last year because she said that she is colored. Recently, she was on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God, and he asked a question regarding her identity, and she said she does not want to answer. It even led to a point where people started saying Charlamagne the God was bullying her on that interview, which led to Charlamagne the God coming out to clear the air, saying that all of the questions that Tyla was asked on the Breakfast Club has been sent to them to review. So it wasn't like it was just bringing up these topics randomly. And I saw a lot of comments of people saying that this should even be the question that they should ask her because, she's an artist, she's popular, people know her. And this is the topic of discourse whenever it comes to Tyla. So why is she trying to avoid this conversation? It led into a lot of opinions and a lot of takes on social media. There are people saying she wants validation from outside and people from the United States. She has refused to answer the questions that has been coming up over and over again. I have put together these clips, so without wasting much time, let's get right into it because South Africans have some things to say and Americans have some things to say. And I have put together all of these things that people are saying and some comments as well. So let's check out this video and come back to the comment.
Oh my God, y'all gotta get in here and check this out. Tyla just issued a statement after the clip of her on The Breakfast Club this morning, dodging Charlamagne's question about being colored. I wanna go ahead and insert a clip of Tyla's lack of response to Charlamagne's question here.
About your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
Can we not? Por favor.
Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the interview too.
Shut up, man.
I like when they talk from the back and say we can't. I like that. I like the character. That's good. That's even better.
Next one, please.
That's even better.
After this went viral, Tyla took to her Instagram to say, "You guys, I never deny my blackness. I don't know where that came from. I'm mixed with Black, Zulu, Irish, Indian, and colored." She says, "In South Africa, I will be classified as a colored woman. In other places, I'll be classified as a Black woman." She went on to say, "Race is classified differently in different parts of the world." She went on to say, "I don't expect to be identified as color outside of South Africa when not comfortable doing so because I understand the weight of the world outside of South Africa." To close this conversation, both colored in South America and a Black woman. Start by saying, as a woman of the culture, it's and not or. Now, she definitely saw what people were having to say about her regarding this entire situation, and her PR team went into crisis mode. I'm curious to know what y'all think about this. Let me know in the comments, y'all. Peace.
Let me show y'all a clip of Charlamagne talking about Tyla and her interview on The Breakfast Club real quick.
I said to them, no. Oh. Now, when I say no, I'm not going to oblige any of this. It is your job then, label, management, whoever, to either prepare the artist for the questions or pull the interview.
Exactly.
So when Tyla went on The Breakfast Club, my first question was, why even go? Why go? Yes, The Breakfast Club is a large platform. They have a lot of listeners and viewers, right? They definitely do. However, there are large platforms dedicated to talking about music and artists, right? And they've been doing so for years. And The Breakfast Club is not one of them. The Breakfast Club is not for the culture. It's a place you go to talk about the culture. You understand what I'm saying? It's literally mindless entertainment. It's no different from the Wendy Williams show. It's literally no different, just more than one host. All of them put together equal like half of a Wendy, and they're trying their best. Anyway, I was wondering why she even went, because of course Charlamagne was being rude. That's what he does. People were saying, oh, maybe he was ignoring what the label told him not to ask, and he's just being an asshole and blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's the case, but once again, that's what he does. Why go? Charlamagne himself said, the label said, hey, don't ask about this, this, and that, right? Charlamagne said, no, I'm going to ask anyway. Then they sent her there anyway without any preparation. So once again, I ask, why did she even go? Where's the research? Is she being set up? Because it feels like it. Anyway, her manager is a black man that manages Aquafina, the Asian girl that pretends to have a hood black scent. Or at least she used to. I don't know if she still does. I don't know. That girl. To me, that just adds a little layer of context. I don't know if that means a lot, but it does add some context, I think.
The unmitigated gall to sit in front of Charlamagne the God on the Breakfast Club with straight back cornrows and a hoodie and not think you were going to answer questions about your racial identity. I'm sorry, I'm still, I know some of y'all don't like Charlamagne the God, but that was a good call. That was a good call to keep that part of the interview. That was out of bounds. That was disrespectful. You don't get to come to our house. You don't get to come to our house to get our coins and pick and choose how you handle sensitive issues that we care about. And to the blueprint, us claiming people who don't want to be us, who you can look at and tell they're not completely black, that's in and of itself its own form of anti-blackness. Some of y'all need to unpack that. This big tent blackness, some of y'all are sick. Some of y'all are sick.
Baby, Charlamagne just outed Tyla ass like nobody's business. So Tyla did an interview with Charlamagne the God in the Breakfast Club, and there were a lot of questions she refused to answer. The one about Kai Sin, the one about using the word color, and a couple of more questions. Now, the funny thing is, we all thought Charlamagne was being an asshole. I thought he was being an ass. But that wasn't the goddamn case. Charlamagne went on a podcast and told everybody, baby, they knew I was going to ask these questions. They sent me the questions way before she got there. And I told them, hell nah. I'm asking these questions. These are the questions people want to know. These are the questions people want answers to. So she can either show up and answer the questions or don't show up at all. Now, her team could have pulled her off that interview because they already knew Charlamagne was going to ask them fucking questions. But they didn't, and I don't know why. So when Tyla got to the damn interview and Charlamagne did what Charlamagne does, asked every fucking question that he deemed the people wanted to know. And her team in the back talking about, can we move on to the next question? Tyla looking at them like this. Charlamagne looking like you knew I was going to ask this goddamn question. And everybody sitting there like, okay, this some bullshit. What's the point of the interview? Why did you show up? I'm sorry, Tyla is not fucking Beyonce. She ain't Janet Jackson. She damn sure not Denzel Washington. Your career is fresh, baby. And as soon as it starts, it can damn well end. When people find out you are a hard person to work with, or you're a hard person to even talk to, or you can't get real, they ain't going to fuck with you no more. Especially in America, because America like tea. Your people gonna end up ruining your goddamn career. Keep playing around. Because it's not just people like Charlamagne. There are other places that you're gonna go and you're gonna have to do interviews. And since you ain't answered these goddamn questions up front, they're gonna continue to ask them. And what's gonna end up happening is Tyla's gonna build a bad reputation and nobody's gonna want to have any part of it. That makes it hard to promote shit, ma'am. If you ain't got nowhere to go to promote it. I'm just saying.
The whole Charlamagne Tyla fallout is an example of why it's so important to take control of your narrative. You can't let your agents, your PR people, your managers completely control your narrative because they will mess you up. Tyla's a talented babe and I feel like she's smart as well. But when you have people in your ear who are supposed to be more experienced in the field you're stepping into, you trust them, you take their advice. But the whole, we won't answer questions on this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And then the show host being like, well, we're going to ask you anyway. Rejected. And then you still go on the show. Poor, poverty-infused advice. You have to back yourself. You need to know who you are and you need to know what you're comfortable talking about and not talking about, and push back if your team are chatting in a language that is not making sense. Because I get there are questions that you just don't want to answer, but there's a way to do it. And you can't go on a talk show, radio show, podcast, anything and think that you're going to completely control how it goes. You need to back yourself and answer questions that might be a little tricky in a way that's going to give the people something, but also maintain your integrity. And also, I swear some of the questions weren't that deep. Like, I don't know what the thought process was for the team meeting, because don't ruin my girl's career. Yeah, we'll see, but oof, take control of your narrative, back yourself, don't let other people pull strings when it comes to your life.
I'll wait until after the Breakfast Club interview to side-eye Tyla for evading those questions. I started looking at her sideways when she won that Grammy, because I'm like, Tim's wasn't nominated, Ava Star wasn't nominated, Burna Boy didn't win, and Lord knows they had 2023 on lock with those Afrobeats music, and I still listen to Tim's. I still listen to Burna Boy. Like, Tim's had the best album, hands down. But everyone's arguing the fact that, oh, Tyla, she had the most streams in one day when her song came out. Okay, and she's from Johannesburg, so it's not surprising. Her family probably paid for her to get as far as she did, because Johannesburg is the capital of Africa, and they are the wealthiest country in Africa. And Burna Boy, Tim's, Ava Star, first of all, they're dark-skinned, let's be honest. Second of all, they're from Nigeria, which is known for poverty in Africa, and they look down on people from Nigeria. I mean, she literally evaded those questions. She wasn't going to answer those questions. I don't even know why she even came to the interview in the first place, because everyone knows, as much as you don't like Charlamagne, he's going to press and he's going to get the real answers out of you. And they know they want her image to be something that they don't want the narrative of her image to change at all. They want people that look like her, again, people that look like Drake, they want people that look like Drake to be the face of hip hop, to be the face of rap. Now they want people that look like Tyla to represent Africa, South Africa, West Africa, whatever part of Africa. When we think of Afro beats, they want us to think of Tyla. That's what they want us to think. They don't want us to think of Tim's. They don't want us to think of Burna Boy or Ava Star. They don't want us to think about them. They want us to think of Tyla. Programming at its finest. I'm not falling for it. Like, I'm not knocking the girl. She's young, she's learning, but I really feel like she's just a manufactured artist that was placed in that position. She comes from a wealthy family, so I'm not very surprised about that at all.
I personally don't care if Tyla doesn't want us to call her Black. As a person who doesn't want y'all to receive me or perceive me as anything but Pablo, I understand. And yes, I understand the conversations around pronouns and the conversation around how you are perceived as in skin color are very, very different. But at the end of the day, the issue I more so have with this entire conversation, you're simultaneously demanding people recognize you as one thing, or in fact, at this point, ignoring the entire conversation, while also trying to successfully market yourself in America because you would like to receive that international validations that a lot of artists not from America would like. And that's where I feel like Tyla has gone wrong in this entire discussion and conversation. Whether or not she sees it as disrespectful to be called Black or whatever is her business. I fully agree. But I think not having the wherewithal to know not to bring that conversation to the internet, to start a complete firestorm around who you are as a human being, especially when you're trying to market yourself to Black Americans, is asinine. And I think that is most exacerbated by that entire Breakfast Club interview. You are going to a place that a lot of older millennial Black people hold as like the key to Black culture, and demanding 3 people who are known for being messy in that space to not question the biggest personal happening around you other than your music. And again, they are messy, so I understand not wanting to have that conversation with them. But babes, you knew that before you booked the interview, and you shouldn't have booked that shit in the first damn place. At the end of the day, Tyla needs to realize that you are on a press tour in America, and the way that Black Americans receive and interpret language is different than South Africa, clearly. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, though.
Here's what nobody wants to admit about the Tyla situation. The reason Tyla is frustrated with the Black American community is because she feels entitled to your support, especially the support of Black women. And if we're to be totally honest, she has every right and reason to feel entitled. Stick with me. All you have to do is look at the obsessive levels of support that Black women give biracial women like Meghan Markle and Nara Smith. Neither of these women have had to prove that they're in community with Black women. Neither of these women have had to earn Black women's fanatical support. And just to be clear, I don't think either one of them have to identify as Black. I personally don't consider them Black, and I don't think they have to socialize with Black people. I'm just saying. They've done absolutely nothing to communicate fellowship with Black women, and yet they receive tons and tons of fanatical support. And it just does beg the question, like, why are the parasocial bonds that Black women feel with them so strong? Like, what is the origin of that? What's the reason behind it? What have they actually done or said to facilitate that attachment. Meghan stans are going to hate this, but I'm going to say it. I have yet to see her pictured with a black person who is less wealthy or less famous than she is, other than her mother. I'm talking about Meghan Markle. She didn't even respond to Tyler Perry's letter to her until she needed his assistance. When she finally needed him, he absolutely swooped in to save her and her Prince of England husband. This is the same Tyler Perry that told black women that if they want to be partnered, they need to accept being financial providers for men. He was absolutely willing to swoop in and provide for her and her husband, the descendant of probably the strongest European monarchy. Remember that? Now, if Meghan was like a mixed race girl from Idaho with a white mom and an absent black dad, I probably wouldn't have a whole lot of questions. But I do find some of her patterns remarkable, given that she's from the city of Los Angeles, not a suburb, has a black mom. We're talking Los Angeles in the 90s. We're talking O.J. Simpson trial, Los Angeles. We're talking Rodney King, Los Angeles. Anyone from LA knows that race permeated the culture of Los Angeles during that time. Think of the LA riots. Again, I'm not saying that she has to have black friends. I'm just saying that the fact that she doesn't is remarkable, and it is not happenstance. It's a choice. It's not happenstance. It's a choice. I know that this infuriates Black Meghan Markle stans to point this out, but I think it infuriates them because deep down they know that it's weird. So everyone has just collectively decided to ignore this fact. And this is really funny to me because when like a fully white person engages in hip hop or anything that we associate with black culture, like black people expect them to have black friends. Black girls always like, is his girlfriend black? Like everyone expects some sort of origin story, some sort of Negro origin story. But Meghan Markle, the half Negro, needs no Negro origin story. I have actually seen fan fiction about her that would have you thinking that she pledged AKA and gets her hair sewn in by Arrogant Tay. Like it's insane the way that some of y'all like just overly identify with this woman. And to a lesser degree, it's the same with Nara Smith. She's quick to tell you that she's German, and she is. She was raised there, even if she was born in South Africa, but very little reference to her South African heritage. And for the record, that's her right, but I know in the countries of her origin, both South Africa and Germany, she's not a black woman. When she got her hair braided and the girls in her comment section were screaming, oh my God, birthing braids, like she would know what the F that was. I was just confused. Not even to mention that she doesn't even have the hair type that would make birthing braids conducive or functional or useful for someone like her when she's pregnant. Baby girl's scalp was probably on fire, and that's why she took them joints out. And then what's funny is we all saw how fast that y'all got in formation when that white girl tried to clout chase and say that she wanted Nara Smith braids. And suddenly, everyone was ready to go to war. And why wouldn't she call them Nara Smith braids? You guys call them Zoe Kravitz braids because she has raggedy braids in her hair. Like, I've been wearing raggedy braids for 20 years. You couldn't get Zoe Kravitz to say the word black 10 years ago. Suddenly you're naming braids after her? Some of y'all think that people outside of our community don't notice these patterns, but they do. And they know how valuable your attention and your support is. You are being studied and they know exactly how to harness your attention. You made Nara Smith's braids a big deal and then got frustrated when a white girl decided to go ahead and clout chase, which, hello, it's TikTok. I saw a TikTok with an Asian girl who had like really high cheekbones and really, really full lips. And people in the comment section were like, oh my God, you look like Nara Smith. And guess who got in the comment section ready to go to war? Literally telling her that it was impossible for her to look like this woman. And regardless of how you feel about the whole Oneswa situation, the anti-blackness coming from women that look like me towards Oneswa really broke my heart. As if a black woman who was closer to Oneswa's phenotype didn't birth Nara Smith. Someone even said Oneswa was just jealous of Nara and her husband, as if it's every woman's fantasy to be married to Draco Malfoy. And that is not shade. Draco's cute. The point is, so many of you guys are imposing a fantasy on that woman and expecting everyone else to share the same delusion. But your fantasies are exposing you. They're exposing your low self-esteem. They're exposing your anti-blackness. All this is to say, it's not lost on me how strong and one-sided, emphasis on one-sided, the parasocial bond between black women and certain types of mixed race women are online and in celebrity culture. They give y'all absolutely nothing and you give them everything. You raise your blood pressure, you write think pieces in support and in defense of them. You are fighting for an image that's so far from who they probably really are. And they let you do this because they know how valuable you are as an audience, at least when you're first starting out. You give them both a gift, and that gift is called race neutrality, especially in the case of Meghan Markle.
You do the difficult labor for them, you fight the wars for them, and they get to say nothing. And with Megan in particular, she kind of positions herself as a socially conscious, highly educated activist of sorts. And she's very well versed in feminism, but just race and racism in general just escapes her. Mind you, she continues to do the work of imperialism by visiting all these black and brown Commonwealth countries and essentially cosplaying as active royals. So what does all of this have to do with Tyla? It's not just that she's South African, because remember, Trevor Noah is, and he was able to navigate this really well. And mind you, he's a comedian, so I know he had a different medium to express himself and for the public to communicate with him and understand his background. But it's not just about her being South African. This is about the way we privilege mixed-race women in media, and Tyla simply expected the same treatment. The difference is, Tyla is a dark-skinned mixed-race woman. On the global stage, she might not be black, but she is black adjacent. Even in the colored community within South Africa, there is a hierarchy, and let's guess who's on top. Of course, she doesn't want to declare herself as a part of a lower caste. Remember that historically there were colored people that supported the apartheid government. They were okay with inequality as long as they weren't at the bottom. Unfortunately for Tyla, her skin color betrays her. To be honest, she looks mostly South Asian to me, but on the global stage, and even by South Asian standards, she's darker skinned, gorgeous in my opinion, to be honest, prettier than the other two possibly, I don't know. Not that that matters, but the point is she's gorgeous, but she is darker skinned, and on the global stage that means something. She is being perceived as black adjacent in a way, and it's not just about the hip hop stuff. And I just think she wasn't prepared for that. She's used to having a caste at the bottom, a caste that she's just not a part of, and she doesn't want to be a part of it. A couple of years ago, I tried to join a Facebook group that was for, makeup tips for women with dark skin. And when I got into the group, the entire group was for darker skinned South Asian women in particular. And something that I noticed was that I'd say about like 70% of the images were images of darker skinned black women. And even the discourse, the language that they used to describe their experiences with colorism came from the West. They came from black feminism. I think a lot of you really undervalue what you bring to the table. You give away an outsized level of support to people who don't require it, don't request it, and then you are confused, surprised, hurt when they're finally no longer interested in cultivating it and using it for their benefit. We have to collectively ask why we do this. Tyla simply thought she was going to get the Meghan Markle and the Nara Smith treatment, and she's disappointed that she didn't. She's frustrated that she didn't. A TikToker named Culture Work did a very similar video to this, so I recommend you watch it. She's way more succinct and to the point than I am. Sorry, I'm very long-winded. But yeah, Tyla just expected a lot of gratuitous, unearned support, and I think was very frustrated when she didn't get it. And that wasn't the fault of Black Americans. I mean, the bottom line is she's a product that was trying to be marketed into a new audience, and, the audience tried to tell her what was what, and she didn't accept it. When I go to the UK, I'm not looking for potato chips. You know what I mean? So this was damn near 10 minutes. If you want like the 30-minute version, let me know. I'll sit down and sparse through the rest of it. But yeah, let me know what you think.
What do you guys think about the speech, and what do you think about that interview? I feel like I agree to the people saying that they already know that Charlamagne the God is going to ask that question, because if you have been following the Breakfast Club, you know it can get very messy, and they want to get the tea out of every single person that they interview. They want to really, really get down to business. They want to know what the people want to hear from this person, and that is what they are going to ask. I think I agree to the lady in the stage talking about the fact that now they notice that she is ignoring these questions, that when she go on other interview, they'll probably still continue to ask these questions. Like, now, if you know you're not going to be answering these questions, why did you go on that interview? Like, because now they know that she's, evading this question, she's rejecting it, she's not answering it. I feel like it's true that a lot of these interviews that she will go on will want to ask this same question. And there's some people on the other side saying, why does that even matter? Like, why do the people in America want to know this girl's cultural, racial identity? Why do they care about that? And they are saying that if she's coming to our site to come market a song, if she is in America doing tours and going on interviews, then she should be able to answer the questions. We're not giving you our points to not even be able to know who you are as a person. This person said, I think my biggest question in this whole discourse is, why does Tyla have to contort herself to American perceptions of understanding of things to be received well at home? Another one said, you all are so annoying. Tyla said she was colored because in South Africa, that is what she's called. Exactly. You guys took that and created a whole discourse on the world and assumed that meant she did not want to identify as Black. I remember when it came out last year, when this conversation came out last year, I remember there was a creator who literally made a video, and that creator, a Black American creator lady, made a video talking about how she doesn't want to identify as Black. South Africans dragged this lady. Another person said, I have noticed that the US expects the entire world to have the same relationship with race as they do, and are often reluctant to learn about how the race issue has developed in other places. Another one said, this is an emphasis on her race because people want to place her. I don't know what more a team can do because I have watched her interview and she wants it to be about music. But once the news cycle obsessed over a thing, which is her race, even asking to not talk about it becomes a story. Exactly, because her not wanting to talk about it, saying she does not want to talk about it, becomes the main thing that they will always be attaching to her. Another person said, going on any type of show and saying don't ask about her biggest or viral moment in her career was an odd choice too. And I totally agree. Another one said, but she isn't even demanding people to address her as such. It is people who keep bringing up the conversation when she's explained herself several times. This is what the people are saying in the comment section. A lot of people are agreeing to the fact that they will keep asking her these questions if she keeps rejecting and not answering these questions. And a lot of people are saying, why do you all care? Why do you want someone's racial identity to be centered around this? Why do Americans want to milk this thing out of her and stuff like that? I would really like to hear what you guys think about this whole conversation. Do you agree that she shouldn't have been on that interview because she should know what the Breakfast Club is all about? She should know what their interview is all about, and that they will always want to get the tea out of anyone that they bring on the show. Let me hear your take in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation there, and I will definitely talk to you guys in the next one.